Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, Mr. Sergeant at Arms, sir. Good morning this morning.
Am I who what?
Did you ride it this morning?
No, it's afternoon.
Okay.
I learned to have a chance between 40 degrees or 60 degrees, go for the 60 degrees. Okay. So good morning, everybody. I'm really glad to be here today. And I'm getting a little dollar to show that.
Here we go. Well, I'll start. Oh, you first.
Leaving Friday for Florida for a week. We have family down there, got a condo, said come visit us. Okay. That'd be good. You would rather do that?
Well, I've got some there. I'm thankful that Dave is back and, because I was running late this morning and he was working hard and Mary is
hardly working. I'm not sure which one.
working hard. I set up by myself last week, so I'm there very thankful for that.
Was.
Trust me.
All right.
Sort of, maybe. But anyway, I'm glad to see Mary is back with us and yeah. Very.
Yeah. I know this stuff, yes.
We clap when you go away.
Yeah.
No, we won't. No, we won't. So, and we have a full house today, so that's great. All right, good. All yours.
Dr. Lillie, I need to call you later.
All right. Call me on the phone.
Okay, all right.
All right. I'm happy to be here.
I'm glad you're here too. Mr. Was, what's up with you today?
Kind of a tough reason why, my mother broke her wrist last week. But it's gonna bring her down to St. Louis for a couple of months. She's gonna be here and do the rehab here because my sister, who generally kind of overseas, is off on a 2-month voyage, so her driving trip. So we get to have my mom in town for a couple of months.
Very good.
Yeah.
Anybody else this morning?
Courtney, what's up?
I'd like to give this, I listened to Dan on TV.
Me too.
Yeah. Very touching.
Very
Thank
good.
you. What's up?
I was gonna give it, back in the old days of Rotary, the dinosaurs ruled here. One of the reasons for Happy Bucks is if you were ever mentioned in the newspaper or any kind of publicity that you got. And my wife and I were privileged enough to represent the Alzheimer's Association on Channel 4 News the other night,
I
so.
saw that great, I caught the last 3/4. Thank you. Okay, talking about that. Thank you.
What night were you on there?
Saturday night,
Saturday night.
and it's on their website now.
Yeah.
Good.
It was about Valentine's Day with Alzheimer's.
What channel was that in?
Channel 4.
Ruth, this a dollar early today?
Yes.
Awesome. Oh, right here, this enters. It's Mitch. Sure.
My daughter had someone pull out in front of her a couple of weeks ago. She hurt her foot operated on, and the individual fled the scene. Unfortunately, somehow, some way, the police found him, and he had insurance, so that saved her deductible. And it was kind of humorous because he fled the scene, and then he claimed that she had her turn signal on, and she was going to turn. But anyway, it's between the insurance companies now, and I'm grateful for that battle.
I gotta do another buck now that he said that. I found out last night that my son-in-law got hit by a car crossing the street. And because he's in such good shape, he just got up, the driver kept going, it was a hit and run. But my son-in-law just got up and kept walking to work. His chest is all bruised now, but you
Was
know,
it in St. Louis?
Granite City.
Well, wow, that's even greater.
Yeah, so I mean, if that had happened to me, I'd be a pile of dust right now.
Oh, right there behind.
Sorry, I'm late.
Uh-oh.
You go glad you're here.
Happy that, have my grandson walk.
Your turn.
Made a quick trip up there flew up there, no, drove up there very quickly.
Next time they
Sunday.
have children to have.
First.
That's the first. Okay, I've got 4 granddaughters. I'll trade you for a grandson. I might take you up on.
Said not yet.
How long does it take to drive to Jordan? About 8 hours?
Yeah, it's 8 hours driving.
Did you fly?
No, but I,
In a
you
car.
know.
All right. Okay.
I went Saturday night halfway and finished it up Sunday and then drove to Chicago on Monday and saw Mandy and then came home.
Oh, awesome.
I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to see everybody and Mary.
Yeah. Well, Mr. President,
All right. Very good. That's wonderful. Well, our guest speaker today is Lillie Danser, and she's from the Heroes Program. And I had reached out with her, we crossed emails and finally got a confirmation yesterday, thank goodness. Because otherwise Dave was gonna have to do some magic and pull something up on the internet. It's always better to have a live speaker than somebody.
Maybe.
Yes, exactly. So, Lillie,
We'll leave that to be decided.
well, it was yours.
Good morning. Thank you all for having me. I unfortunately do know Dan, and I know that I might not have said yes. Just kidding. Kind of love you. He's fantastic. So my name is Lillie Danser. I am with the Heidemann Group at Delmar Mortgage. I know a couple of people in the room. I know Al, we do a lot of stuff with VetNet, with the Kaufman Fund. So appreciate the opportunity to come in. I've been in my role for about 2 years. Prior to that, I owned a gluten-free cafe and bakery, which closed due to COVID. Do I need to stand here? Probably be a little easier, or the teacher in me is gonna have a hard time being in one spot. You can take it. Okay, that might be better. I'm a teacher, so I move. And then prior to that, I was actually in education, so. Fun fact.
Prior to being a teacher, you were in education.
Exactly,
Great.
exactly. Fun fact about me, my hair actually changes colors every 6 to 8 weeks for a child or a sibling battling cancer. So the next time you see me, it will be a different color most likely, unless you come to VetNet on Friday. So I'm gonna share a little bit about the Heidemann Group, Delmar, kind of what we do, how we're different, and a lot about our Heroes program, which is really how we thank those serving our community. It should work.
Yeah, it's on.
Or just yell at me, just tap Dave, no, or no, for some reason it's not, so.
We're we'll make it work. So, I'm also a teacher, we do a lot of class participation. So raise your hand and keep it raised. Go ahead, Dave. You want me to click?
Nope, I got it.
If you want to home. Okay. Keep it raised if Dave, you know your exact monthly mortgage payment. That's not fair, Al.
Yeah, some of us have.
That's awesome, good feedback. You know, if you have nothing, you know your exact interest rate. That's okay, see, this is impressive right now. And then one more. You created your loan using a short or long-term financial plan or strategy. Versus I just bought a home. All right, we got a couple of people, awesome, I have some prizes up here for you, if you guys did that. He's like, I didn't. Most people don't, and that's one of the things we do differently. We're mortgage advisors. If you want to just click to the end, we can do that easier. And nope, go back.
Not that end.
There you go. So the Heidemann Group was formed by Robert Heidemann in 2009. He's been in the real estate and lending industry for 23, 24 years. He moved to Delmar in 2013. So Delmar has actually been serving the community since 1966. It's third generation owned right now. The kids are actually coming now. So during the summer when they're not in school, we have the fourth generation working, and it's fun because they're teenage boys. So all we do is yell at them, hey, fourth generation, and they get really embarrassed. So one of our other ways we give back is our charitable promises initiative. So any of the people clients who let us close a loan with them, we let them pick a non-for-profit. We've given at this point to over 400, and we make a personal donation in their honor. So we've given about $46,000 just to nonprofits to say thank you for our clients. And then obviously we have the Heroes program to get back to, and we'll share more about that in a minute. Go ahead. There you go, stop there. Nope, go back one. There we go. So obviously mortgage companies, we will do purchases, refinances. We can do fixed or adjustable rates. And then we have a variety of loan programs, VA, FHA, conventional, pretty much all those things. And we put reverse mortgages on there. We can do those. But we do typically send those out to somebody who specializes in those. We have a couple partners in the community because we don't do enough of them to make sure that we can do it correctly. Two more, done. It's impressive, I remember that. So home ownership, one of the things we always talk about with home ownership and the importance of it is why people own a home. So you guys all own homes, so you know a lot of these things. For millennials, it helps them to learn these things. But for business owners, it increases employee retention, right? Your employees are less likely to leave if they have a mortgage payment they have to make. It builds net worth, provides stability, supplements pension and retirement income. For our heroes, this is really important because a lot of law enforcement and firefighters, their pensions and retirement aren't fantastic. And a lot of actually law enforcement agencies are getting rid of pensions. And then there's a reduction of stress. So it increases employee productivity and increases social interaction. We can reduce stress. And we'll talk a little bit more about some of that too.
This is the way of moving down the side.
Oh, here we go. Perfect, ready to go. So we have what we call as the perfect loan process. And this is one of the things that makes us different. So we do an initial consultation. During that consultation, we spend a lot of time just getting to know you. What are your goals, your personal goals, your financial goals, all of those things. And then we start mortgage advising. So we start saying, is the strategy we're going to create for you help you do that? So if you come to me and you say, I want to retire in 5 years, and I want to get a 15-year mortgage on $1 million house, I'm going to say, no, you're not. You can choose to get your $1 million house, or you can choose to retire in 5 years. But those goals don't match unless you have a lot of money that I don't know about. And so what we then do is, with that is we will end up calling your financial advisor. We'll call your CPA and we'll say, hey, listen, this is what they're telling us. So if you tell us you want to pull your down payment out of your 401k, we're going to call your financial advisor and say, did they tell you that? They'll be like, nope. Hey, let's get on a three-way phone call, right? Or let's say you tell us you want to buy the $1 million house, but you told your financial advisor you want to retire in 2 years, right? Our goals don't match. So we call everybody and make sure everybody's on the same page. And then we create your loan based on what makes a difference to you. So we can have 2 people with the same scenario, same income, same price point in the house, and the loans are going to be structured differently based on what their goals are. Maybe your goal is, I want the lowest payment. Maybe your goal is, I want to pay off my house the fastest I can. So we change those things. Interest rates vary. So here we go, we're going to do some fun stuff. Who knows why your interest rate would vary from the person next to you? Credit rating. Your credit score makes a big difference on your interest rate. Age. Nope. We cannot do anything based on age. If I do, I'm going to jail. How much? Your assets. Yes. Assets. Your cumulative wealth can make a difference. How much down payment you have. Those types of things can absolutely make a difference.
How much of a swing is there for those reasons?
It can be pretty significant. So we ran numbers for somebody yesterday in the office. The difference between a 620 credit score and a 720 credit score was 3/4 of a point. So it's a difference between 6 1/4 and 7%. It's a very big difference. It's a difference on your price of your purchase price of about $100. So the interest rate, now the difference between 6 1/2 and 6 1/4, probably a $15, $20 difference. But that again depends on your price point. So how much your house is changes your interest rate. The higher your house price is, typically lower your interest rate. The more down payment you have, typically the lower your interest rate. And some of those things are, how does Fannie Mae think of you as a borrower, right? So if you go buying $1 million house and putting 25% down, they're probably thinking you're not gonna default, you're a good borrower. So I'm willing to give you a lower interest rate. I'm gonna hold that loan longer and I'm gonna make more money off of you, is really what they're thinking. Again, like I said, we'll call your trusted advisors, make sure they agree, make sure they understand, make sure everybody knows what your plan is. And then we're gonna discuss and recommend. So most likely, if you call us after we've done all of these things, we are gonna present 2 to 3 scenarios for you. Hey, if you do an FHA loan, this is what it's gonna look like. If you do a conventional loan, this is gonna look like. If you put 5% down, this is what your loan's gonna look like. If you put 10% down, this is what it'll look like. The difference between 5 and 10, like 6, 7, 8, 9, doesn't make a difference. Just fun fact for you guys. When you're looking at your interest rate in your loan, 5%, 10%, 20% starts making a difference. If you want to put 7.5% down, we'll actually tell you to keep your money. Give us 5%, keep the other money, because if you bought a house, you know there's going to be something you need to fix. And then we recommend, hey, based on what you're saying, this is our recommendation, but you guys get to choose whichever one you want to do. Every week, once you're in the process, we send you a form, and it literally shows you exactly where your loan is and what's happening on it. So you know exactly what's, for those of you who bought a house, a lot of times you go, you sign your papers, and then 3 weeks later, they're like, hey, come sign again, you have no idea. We want to make sure you know everything that's happening. And then we also will do communication at any major milestone. Hey, we've ordered your appraisal. Hey, your appraisal came back. Hey, your underwriting came back. We'll do all of those things because we want to make sure you know what's happening. And then we continue monitoring your loan after it closes. So we will keep it in the system. So if we know that really your target was a $1,500 house payment and you're at about $1,600, we keep monitoring that. And we look, did interest rates drop? Can we refinance them to get them back to that goal? Can we restructure their loan because they need some little cash out to do some additional projects? All of those things that we look at, we just keep monitoring it to see if there's an ability for you to get into a better financial position. Could be cash out, could be interest rate, it could be you've got enough to remove mortgage insurance. So we'll do all of those things. Just, you don't even have to know, we'll let you know. And then we actually don't charge the clients. We do have one small fee to, like, you know, turn on the lights and things like that. But our fee, we actually get paid a commission. So we write your loan, we sell it to Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. They give us a commission and say, hey, thank you so much. The way we have set it up on our team is we get the exact same commission. So if I sell Dan $1 million house and I sell Dave $100,000 house, I get the same commission. And we did that. And maybe not the other way around. And we did that because what we want to make sure is all of our clients feel like they're our only client.
Is commission described as percentage or dollar?
We get a flat fee. So a lot of people will do it on a percent. We get a flat fee. Ours is about $5,000. And I say that, that's not what we take home. The company gets paid $5,000. And then they take their cut and then we get about $2,000 at the end of it. As a team to split between the team. And it's the same. And we did that specifically so we are not motivated to go find $1 million loans. We're motivated to help our clients. And so that's what we like to do. And then with that commission, when we go through the Heroes program, which is really what I'm in charge of, is we give up a third or more of that to our heroes. So we give up about a third of the 5,000, but we actually only make about $500 typically, if that, on our heroes loan. So our Heroes program, like I said, is our way to express gratitude to those serving our community. So we do loans for, it started with military, and my boss Robert always grew up with the idea of giving back. That's what his parents taught him. And he had this issue with homeless veterans. Why are our veterans homeless after they've served our country and they have access to the VA loan? You've all owned a house. Closing costs are expensive. People don't think about that. So his theory was, how do I come alongside, provide a resource to cover some of the closing costs? And that's what this started. Started with veterans, he does active military, we do reservists. A couple years later, he added first responders, law enforcement, fire, EMS, We do include corrections and communications in that, or dispatch, so when you call 911, that person on the phone is not normally considered law enforcement. We do consider them, because if you've ever called 911 in an emergency, man, those people are taking it. They're really the ones kind of the first responder in the middle of a crisis situation. And then in 2020, with the pandemic and the COVID-19, we've added healthcare workers just as a way to say thank you to everything that they did. So we have 6 components of it. It's our closing cost credit. We can do a specialized program, lunch and learns, community partnerships, support, and connecting. So we'll learn more about these. So the closing cost credit is up to $1,500. It is based on your loan, your loan size, because we have more wiggle room on $1 million house than we have on a $100,000 house. So it does depend on that. You can use it repeatedly. So before April 1st, you can refinance your house every 6 months. After April 1st, you can refinance your house every year. Depending on how you want to do, Fannie Mae is putting some guidelines in with things like that, just because people are, especially during the COVID pandemic, people are refinancing every 6 months. They weren't making money on those interest rates, so change has happened. And so, but you can use it repeatedly. If you buy your first home, your second home, your 5th investment property, we will continue letting you tap into it, but you can only use it once per loan. So if you are a hero and your spouse is a hero, we only get to use it one time in that loan. So we also think it's available for anybody in the department. We are not just helping the police officer. We're not just helping the person who's in Iraq. It's going to be anybody who's in the military. It's going to be anybody who works for a department, because without human resources, nobody's getting paid, right? Without the person pushing the paper in the office in Washington, D.C., we don't have somebody on the ground in Iraq protecting our country. So as of the beginning of this year, we've given away about $180,000 to our heroes. So that's all commission we didn't actually take home. My goal is to get that over $200,000. So hashtag life goals. One of the other things we have learned is we do some partnering with organizations. So we create a specialized program. So we have a partnership with the hospital in Oklahoma. And so what we've done is we created a specialized program for them. Because our Heroes program is tied to your loan amount, and what we know in any great organization is you have people making minimum wage and you have CEOs making 6 figures, which kind of makes the benefit a little unequal. So what we do is we come alongside and we say that really small fee that we charge, it's about $1,200. We're going to wipe that $1,200 for anybody within the organization. So they literally won't be paying that fee. So it's an equal benefit for anybody if we create this program. So lunch and learns has been something new that's kind of come up in the last year. We've been asked a lot about this. One of the things we have learned is that people don't know how to budget. They don't know how to do financing. They don't know anything about mortgages. And so what we do is we come along and we say, hey, let's help you. What are some things we can do? So we come in, we bring lunch, which is always fun. Everybody likes food. And then we'll teach on a variety of financial or mortgage topics, anything from basic mortgages to finances to anything like that that's going to be beneficial. And then again, our goal is how to provide content to reduce stress, right? Because what we know again is stress is detrimental to physical and emotional health, and reducing stress increases staff retention, productivity, and through social interactions. Something that's important for every one of our hero groups. I don't know the last time you've been to an ER, but those nurses are stressed. They are overwhelmed. When you are stressed and overwhelmed, it's very hard to continue to put on your happy-go-lucky smiley face, right? So one of the things we can do to help them out. Community partnerships. This is one of those other things that's kind of come through. So we'll work with a department or an organization to get needed equipment, supplies, things like that. So we do a lot of local organizations. One that I know near and dear to some people's hearts here, one of the ones we do is like the Kaufman Fund. If you don't know about the Kaufman Fund, it's a phenomenal organization that helps veterans. And they connect and they do things like that. So we've partnered with them. Dogs for Our Brave is another one, local one that we do. So we do a lot of stuff where we just say, what are organizations that are in our community And then how do we walk alongside with them? How do we partner? How do we go to their events? How do we share their information? How do we connect them with other organizations? Plug for this, if you know Al, you know about VetNet, I'm sure. We meet on Friday morning. Third Friday, what's this Friday? Yes, what's the third Friday? So feel free to come. Dan knows too. He comes. We partner with departments. So we'll look at local police departments. Crestwood wanted to get AEDs in all of their marked police cars. It was kind of crazy to me to realize that police cars don't have AEDs in them. And on an emergency, police typically respond in 2 minutes. That's their average response time. EMS is 7. Because police officers are in their cars, they're out and about, right? And so they wanted AEDs because they show up first. They're the ones who actually start CPR. They're the ones who have to do that. And so we did some fundraisers for them and helped them get all 8 of their marked cars with AEDs. Rock Hill's another department we do a lot of stuff with. We do the queso, was coffee with the cop. Queso with the cop is helping build community relationships, kind of get in the local community, help them build those types of things. Support, this one's really fun. And it is one of the most simple things. I would encourage you to do it. It's already letting heroes know they're appreciated. And so all we do is we drop off food or goodies. So the first time I did this at Missouri Baptist, I took a basket like this of snacks, maybe $10, $15 worth of snacks from Aldi's. I had 3 nurses cry because nobody says thank you. I was like, that's crazy. All they do is get yelled at. We'll do it to police officers, we'll do it to different organizations. And it's crazy to me to just hear the stories of how horribly they are treated. So if you ever go somewhere, take some goodies. And then we also do on-site home loan strategy reviews. So this is for somebody who's looking to buy, or you're looking to refinance, maybe you're gonna buy in 3 or 4 or 5 years. We just sit down and start talking. Hey, what are your goals? How does that look to meet them? Hey, what's your credit score? Hey, here are some tips for building your credit. And so it's how do we get you from where you are to where you need to be, wherever you are in that process. So some of the fun things we've done, just taking stuff around. That bottom right is the 100th birthday for that gentleman right there, the World War II vet. We'll talk about some crazy stories. He got shot down 3 different times. Right, but those are those heroes. Fun things we get to do. Connecting, this is one of the big things that we've really been working on. It's how do we connect our clients, departments, organizations with each other so that everybody's working together to kind of help build. So we have Dogs for a Brave as one of the organizations we do, phenomenal organization. It is national, based out of St. Louis, and they train therapy dogs for veterans. Typically, it is like, I need the dog to be able to pick up a quarter off of the floor and give it to me. It's impressive they actually can do it. I've seen it. I was like, there's no way. Absolutely. They pick up credit cards off the floor. They train all the dogs to do that. And then they cover the cost of the dog for the entire life of the dog, all of the food, all of the vets. They bring the vets to St. Louis for training, cover all of those costs. Well, in the middle of it, they've also learned that some of these vets have some obviously PTSD, psychologically, they need to get connected. So we were able to connect them with another organization, Wounded Warriors. One of their parts is they just plan activities for vets. 5 times a month, they just say, hey, how do we get together? And so they go do some of those types of things. So there's all those things that we can then connect and say, hey, if you have somebody, or hey, this person's having a trouble paying their bills, we'll get them connected with the Kaufman Fund, who will have somebody who can connect them with somebody where they want to go. So here's what I'm looking for. Ready? Here's the big ask. I need more connections and partnerships. So if you're in the room, I want to take you to a cup of coffee. I want to hear what you do, or what you used to do, or any information that you have. We're just looking to get to know people. So we would love to just grab a cup of coffee with you. If you know hero organizations, let me know who they are so we can reach out to them, partner with them, connect with them, learn what they're doing, right? The fun things I've learned by making connections is, for example, we can now advise people that the VA does not pay funeral benefits, which I did not know until I met Dan. phenomenal. The amount of veterans who don't know that or spouses who don't know that is shocking. When we start talking, because one of the questions we ask is, do you have life insurance? No, I don't need life insurance. I have VA benefits. Yeah, you do. Here's why you do. Did you know this isn't done? So we're just always looking to make connections. Failure. This is what failure looks like. I forgot to bring the chips. I have some. So I have tokens. I have a couple of them. I don't have a lot because I forgot to put them in my basket. But we have little tokens. If you know a hero, give them a little chip. I'll grab a couple of them or I can get them to you. Or just let them know about the program. Hey, this is what they're out there doing. But mostly, even if they don't need a mortgage, we want to connect with heroes. We want to hear their stories. One of the things that we have learned in the last couple of years is the ability for our heroes to just tell their story. Why did they get into the military? Why are they in healthcare? Why are they still in healthcare after the last few years, right? And so giving them a voice to be able to just share is just a huge passion of ours. So if you just know somebody who's like, hey, she's gonna take you to a cup of coffee, promise it won't be a sales pitch, we won't pitch them loans. We just want to sit down and chat with them, give them the ability to, hey, what's going on? Okay, that was a lot of information, like fire hose. Any questions?
What, I've been paying more attention to things available for veterans the last year or two, primarily because I had an interest in Veterans Community Project with the tiny homes. But this is a vague question. I'm learning that there are quite a few programs out there to help veterans, at least in the St. Louis area. Would you agree that, but they don't know about it?
Correct. So St. Louis is a very veteran helpful community. There is a lot of programs, but yes, vets don't know about them. And a lot of them don't know about each other. And a lot of them have been more recent. Veterans Community Project is a phenomenal organization. If you don't know about it, they build tiny homes in communities. The veteran comes in anywhere from 6 months to 2 years is typically the time frame, usually around 18 months. But the houses are built specifically thinking about PTSD. So when the veteran sits, they can look out every window, they can see every door, they do all of those things. When they leave, they get to take the refrigerator, the microwave, the bed with them, and it houses them. And one of the things they're working on is a community resource center to be able to connect all of the veterans. Because they don't know, people don't know what's out there.
Lillie, in the meantime, this group that she keeps referring to, VetNet, which is where I met Al and Lillie. They meet the third Friday of every month at the American Legion Hall there in Creve Coeur. And it's to connect all these organizations that help veterans, whether it be a mortgage company or Kaufman Foundation pays for dental work for veterans. So, and there's like 80 people in this meeting.
I'm a little familiar. If I could ask you to consider one thing when you talk about Veterans Community Project, which is phenomenal to me, is it's a transitional home.
It is transitional.
We're not given, I mean, veterans that have mobility problems and mental problems, you need a permanent resident. But this is giving life back to the veteran that's been so desperate and homeless. So that transitional aspect, that's what brought me on board with it.
The transitional aspect, and they help with several things. So if they need job skill training, they'll help them get the job skill training. It is literally, how do we get our veterans back on their feet? How do we give them purpose? How do we get them going? Yeah, it is a transitional.
And that organization attends the VetNet.
Okay.
Ashley Norton attends every week or every month for that.
Okay, I went to VetNet about a year or so ago, and then life got in the way and I haven't gone back. So I'm trying to renew my commitment.
It has grown significantly. So yeah, but yeah, they're there, and there's a lot of other organizations that do come that partner that do things. Freedom 13 is one that's recently been done. That was done with Jared Schmidt's family, the Marine who lost his life in the exit from Afghanistan. They're trying to build a kind of a retreat center for people to go and spend a couple of weeks to decompress, feel some PTSD type things like that. So they often come. So there's a variety of great organizations that do come. And yes, you're right. I did talk to somebody else who literally just shared the same passion about the fact that there's all these organizations nobody knows about them, or nobody knows how to connect them, or nobody knows what to do. And so that has been a big focus.
Did the VetNet start with the Kaufman Fund way back about 20 years ago? Do you know?
So the VetNet started as an offset of the Creve Core Chamber. I want to say the Creve Core Chamber. So the Creve, I
For
would,
all of it.
Creve for all of that, I wasn't sure if the pair was wrong.
Page. in
Yeah,
an
so-
Army building.
Yeah, so they used to have the Chamber of Commerce, and they decided, hey, we need something special specifically to target vets. Kaufman Fund came alongside and kind of took that over.
That's how I got involved, because I was a member of the Northwest Chamber of Commerce at the time.
Yep, yeah, and so they came along and did that, and so it's, we have several different chambers that come, a lot of the chamber members come from, I know, the pair, all of that, so. Yeah, and it's the Kaufman Fund's a phenomenal organization.
You may not be able to answer this. What was the suicide rates after World War II comparison to what's happened now after the wars we've had?
I don't know what the difference is. I do know, it's significantly high, but I don't know if I've ever looked at the data to compare timeframes. I would say the highest group the last I heard, the highest group is actually Vietnam vets. They have the highest rate of. Now, I don't know what's been the last maybe 5 or 10 years after, but I can tell you, after talking with Mark Schmitz, the 13 who passed away, I want to say there was a group of 20 of them, 3 of them have taken their lives that survived because they didn't understand why they survived and 13 didn't. So, and so some of it's just different wars. Some of it is also a little bit different between World War II, Vietnam, and now. Now PTSD is talked about. Now PTSD is, hey, we know we have these issues. Even the VA is dealing with some of the psychological benefits of those types of things. But it's still significant.
I think the biggest opinion is, when you came back from World War II, you had a country behind you.
Correct.
And when you came back from Vietnam, you had division. I mean, I couldn't talk about it for 25 years. I mean, I still get a little emotional right now, but it's just unbelievable. I do have a question about the Heidemann Group. Is this just one aspect of your company, or do you?
So the Heidemann Group is under the Delmore Mortgage. So the Heroes program is a part of the Heidemann Group. The Heidemann Group, so the way it works is we are mortgage bankers. And so when we come to closing, we bring a check. Delmar brings that check. We don't bring that check. And so, yes, we'll do mortgages for anybody. We can help anybody. I just specialize in the Heroes.
Okay, that's what I would.
Yeah, I specialize with working with our Heroes. So yeah, we can do it for anybody. So. And yeah.
I noticed in St. Louis, there's a lot of home loan mortgage advertisements, and there's a lot of personal injury advertisements. Nothing else matters except personal injury lawyers or mortgages, maybe a few car people. Pretty competitive.
So I would tell you, had you asked me this a year ago, I would have said yes. But the amount of, so every year they release how many people have renewed their certification. It's down about 25% from last year. The 2022 mortgage industry and the chaos that happened is they'll actually say worse than the 2008 mortgage crash. With what happened with the increase of prices, increase of interest rates and things like that, which did weed out a lot of people who didn't know what to be doing and how to be doing. So there is some competition. A lot of it comes down to, at that point, personalities, who you get along with, how are people serving the community, how are they helping you, those types of things. I mean, at the end of the day, any loan officer can write you a loan. Doesn't mean it's the best loan. We actually just rewrote a loan for somebody. They've gotten on Rocket Mortgage online. Rocket Mortgage was charging them $15,000 that they didn't actually need to pay. They were charging them 3 points for their interest rate of 7%. Like, how did you get 3 points is 3% of her house price?
Costs a lot to advertise on TV.
It costs a lot to advertise on TV, and that's one of the reasons we don't do advertising. We don't do any of those types of things. We don't want to spend our money that way. Yeah. So we always recommend, so we do home loan strategy reviews for everybody, and we do them completely free, not complimentary, no obligation, specifically to make sure somebody's not paying $15,000 they don't need to pay. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for letting me come. We also have other fun stuff if you guys need some more.
President,
Yes, sir.
I do have a question statement. All right. At our last meeting, Tom brought up, something and it kind of blew right past us. With the, events in Turkey, I think we're now up to 35,000 dead and over 1 million homeless. Tom brought up the idea of should this club, make a donation to Shelter Box?
Yes,
And then the bell rang
and that was fun. So, club, I mean, do you want to bring it up at the next board meeting, or do you want to talk about it now? What do you guys think?
I think a month in the face of this disaster is a really long time.
Okay,
Can a sergeant at arms make a motion?
absolutely, it's, I believe so, yes, yep.
I
So,
move that we make a monetary donation to Shelter Box within the next week. And,
do you have an amount in mind?
$1,000 pays for an entire kit. The tent and the pots and pans and the solar lights.
so I'll start with $100 per meeting.
I'll second that.
Okay. Now that you second, you can talk.
So you're.
I pledged 100.
And I pledge
Doing
that.
individual donations?
Let's do 1,000 from the club and have the members contribute as they want.
Wait a minute, you're talking about 1,000.
So Tom, can you make that part of your motion?
Yeah, I amend
I
the
don't
motion
know.
to
That's what
donate $1,000 and each member at their own, at their, what they wish to donate. Maybe earmark their donators.
Yeah, they can come see me or Dave.
Can we get an address to where we send this?
Shelterbox.org.
Yeah.
I guess just for some information,
Yeah, we've got 7,700, but restricted is 5,600, so.
about $2,000 in our funds.
If you, we did this a while back with the tsunami that we provided too at that time. If you were to do it and the club were to fund the money, and then people pay so that the check would go right away. And then people pay the club whatever they wish to reimburse the club for whatever. We would be spending the 1,000, but we would be spending net of much less, hopefully, much less than that because of donations.
That's why he gets the big bucks. That's a great.
Yeah, the shelter box would probably be tax deductible. We give it to.
No, sorry.
If we give it to the club, it's not.
Oh, as a club?
Well, no, because Shelter Box is actually headquartered in England.
So it's not a US.
Not a US 501c3.
Really? It's not.
Back from them.
Okay, well, we can make sure that the donation goes directly to Shelter Box USA.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, so that we're not reimbursing. I got you. I got you. So we have that, we've had several, doesn't sound like $1,000 would be a financially fiscal responsible thing to do, considering we've got about $2,000 left. But I thought I heard Todd as he walked out say, how about a $500 from the club, and then the members can give as they wish, either to, sounds like the best for tax purposes would be donate directly to Shelter Box. So
But we could run the check through the club as your,
Yeah.
how are you gonna make by check or online for the club?
I'm sure if we made it through a check, you would be able to get it to the Shelter Box. And
Yeah, just make it out the damn plan.
or Shelter Box online. That's how I did mine.
Well, I think what we would, probably the best way would be for the club to write a check, the members to reimburse the club. That way the club gets credit for, the club is known as a shelter box hero, because we bought a shelter box. And then the members can reimburse the club as they wish. Okay. So,
Get more
The,
than
the
$1.
downside of that is there's no tax benefit to the members. that are-
Right.
Right. It's the downside. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Becky and I have talked about doing something, so why don't you put $1,000 in it?
are you saying from you? What a nice man. So he's donating $1,000. Is the club also donating $1,000 and then the members can reimburse the club?
Contribute toward that.
Okay,
So we should do two, hopefully do two.
I don't want to confuse Tom, but I think we just amended his motion.
I don't want to confuse Dave, who is keeping track of all of the amendments.
Well, I was supposed to.
They just get a line of-
Jerry, Mr. Executive Secretary, he knows how to just put in writing what we did.
Oh. That is true. That is true.
You're too late to worry about confusing Dave, so.
If everybody understands the motion, all in favor? Opposed? Okay.
Because it's a government,
Uh,
find out afterwards.
that's $1,000 check that members will give back to you and.
With the exception of his, because I'll have you donate directly as well, and that way you get the deduction.
Who should I send a check to? You?
Just make it out to, send it to me, made out to Shelter Box USA.
We got one more thing.
Sure. Yeah, we do have one more thing. We do, and I'm glad that Lillie is here to get to see this. We are inducting today, finally, our newest member of the club, Jim Law. So Jim, would you come up here, please? We are slow, but we do get there, my friend. Jim, on behalf of the Spirit of St. Louis County Rotary Club, it's my great pleasure to welcome you as a member. Welcome you not only for the fine fellowship that we share, but also your strong arm. Okay, good. Strong arm that will help us carry out our many projects to make our community, our country, and the world a better place in which to live. Parentheses, don't forget, next week we are doing our community service at the Rittner Co-Care Food Pantry. So any and all are welcome. We need your strong arms.
We still have our social and
What's
we
that?
still have our social order even now.
Oh, yeah, well, we can talk about that. Rotary is not a political organization, but all Rotarians are vitally concerned with everything pertaining to good citizenship and the election of good men and women to public office. Rotary is not a charitable organization, yet its activities exemplify the charity and sacrifices that one should expect from others who believe they have a responsibility to help each other. Prime example, Mr. Courtney. I mean, that was wonderful. Rotary is an organization of business and professional people pledged to upholding the highest professional standards. Rotarians believe that the worldwide fellowship and international peace can be achieved when business people unite under the banner of service. Jim, you've been chosen for membership in the Spirit of St. Louis County Rotary Club because your fellow members believe you to be a leader in your special line of activity, and because you manifest those qualities of head and heart that enable you to interpret and impart the message of Rotary. You are the representative of your vocation in this club, and any information of educational value pertaining to your craft just fits. Just come up and you can be a program one day and talk to us about it. At the same time, you become an ambassador from us to your classification, and we rely upon you to carry the principles and ideals of service, which we here inspire to those who share your professional activity. The community will know and judge Rotary by your embodiment and character and service, and we accept you as a member because we know our principles and organization can be safe in your keeping. We also expect you to give us the inspiration that will help us become better Rotarians. And it is with hope that I ask your sponsoring member, who I believe was Dave, to come up and invest it with you in a distinguishing pin of a Rotarian. So we have a wonderful pin for you to wear.
It's gonna get interesting.
Put on his collar.
You reach that hard, man?
Partners.
Hey, Dan, this is Dave.
Okay.
It's been amazing how strong they're making those bags and everything.
And that kind of delivered statement.
The shelf proof.
It's supposed to take a short amount of time.
While they were doing that, fellow Rotarians, I have much pleasure in presenting to you our newest member, Jim Law. We have a wonderful badge that Dave is now picking up on the floor, which is okay. Somehow, you can let him take it. Somehow I forgot how to do all the news stuff. All the newsletter. No. And Jim.
I'm not reaching down with them.
So I give appreciation and the member has a little bit about Rotary, which is probably one more than one. Congratulations, Jim. Thank you. Well, thank you, everyone. Thank you very much. Very cool. Couple of very other quick announcements. Next week, February 21st, is Jack and Christine Williams' anniversary, wedding anniversary. So reach out to them. I know he's been absent a little bit from Facebook. I know he's got a new grandchild also that he's very proud of and teaching, and he's still teaching in Maryville. Yeah, I think so. So also, like I mentioned during the speech, food pantry next week in Midland. Lillie, you're more than welcome to join us and get a little introduction there to the Rittner Cultural Food Pantry, which is an amazing place. It's cooperative between the community and the Rittner School District, and the folks go in and it's like shopping in a grocery store. So took us a long time to get it to where we go in, but we did. Also, district conference, April 21st, the big deal, and April 22nd, there's a golf tournaments, a few meetings. Past district governors are invited. There's a luncheon on that Saturday. One other thing, Al had brought up at a board meeting, and before we pursue it much further, that we make available charge card or debit card to pay your dues. Excuse me. Before we pursue that, I was wondering how many in the club would be interested in that form. And basically, any service charges, we would just pass that service charge along to the member. So if I use my charge card and it's 3%, it's my dues plus the 3% for the charge card. So how many of you would be interested in that? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Is that like the MasterCard, Rotary MasterCard we used to have, that where they get a percent, or I'm not sure what?
Well, I don't know, is there still a Rotary
No, they
MasterCard?
can't, they,
No.
This one, I think you're talking about the service charge?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
No.
They charge MasterCard, Visa, whomever.
Yeah.
Charges a percentage for the convenience of using the card. And so that convenience fee would then be added to your dues to cover the cost, so it's a net.
oh,
zero.
in other words, if my dues, let's say $100, I add $5 or whatever.
Yes.
Okay,
Correct.
I do it with an online check. So.
Yes, exactly.
How
So
much of a problem is it gonna be for Ruth to try to keep track of all this?
It's not a problem really, I think. We can still do it.
well, this was just to find out the interest to pursue it, so it could change, so it sounds, yes.
Is there a way you could reduce the fee where sometimes you can pay, you set up payments from your bank? Or you can set up an auto deduct from your banks. You know, those seem to be lower fee than.
Nope,
There's no fee.
nope.
No, okay,
For ACH?
And they mail a check for you.
Okay. Well, I mean, if only one member had been interested.
well, I'd be interested in something like that, being frugal.
Okay, so then
Pay you
will-
3%.
there you go. We will pursue that, so and hopefully report out. Yes, ma'am.
On the shelter box checks, are we gonna make it payable to our Rotary Club and then just write on there it's for the shelter box?
That would probably be the best.
Okay.
And who all is paying? Do I need to keep track of?
I'm doing,
who's-
I would keep track of it. We'll do it. My Mary Kay doesn't know it yet, but we'll do it.
All right, so you'll just tell me.
Yes, we'll make sure you know.
All right.
It's wonderful that you are our treasurer. We love having you as our treasurer. And I haven't heard anybody yet that wants to fight you for the job. So, and we won't do that. We won't fight. We may,
Yeah, I had
Discuss.
another organization ask me last night if I would be their treasurer, and I was like, no.
no.
So no.
Dave, would you please make a note, scratch Ruth for treasurer of the district 6060.
Let's keep her here. I move we keep her.
So, the bulletin quiz, no favorite thing. And I had a nice phone call from a wonderful member yesterday that said my prize box is running a little thin. And it is, and it's running even a little thinner today,
Okay.
but you got
In the car, I'll continue.
a mystery gift in Tom's car.
Yes.
So if you win, you can have that. And I guarantee it's much more exciting than a fanny.
Yeah,
Guaranteed.
I protest. I use that fanny pack every single day. Yeah, I take my wife to the gym and we walk around the track, and in the little fanny pack, I have to carry stuff that she may need.
Yes.
So there's my little rotary.
Very good. So for those of you who pooed the fanny pack,
This gift will fit in a fanny pack.
this gift will fit in a fanny, as will some of the other choices that are here. So the Rotary Bulletin quiz. Got it. Oh, I've still got 2 minutes to drag this one. What? Oh, we do have. Okay,
That's
so.
why you can drag it on at you.
Whoa. Oh my God, my lesson plan is over and I still have 20 minutes left of class. So what was one of the jokes of the week in the bulletin this week?
I didn't see any jokes. I didn't see a bulletin.
There was a bulletin. It was yesterday, but Ann, I think that qualifies you for the answer. There were no jokes.
The gift is perfect for her.
This gift is perfect. So you can either have the mystery gift from Tom, or,
Well, if it's perfect for me, you don't even need to.
oh, we don't even need to? Okay, good.
Can I tell her what it is?
Yes, you may.
It's still in the wrapper tape measure that says world's greatest dad. It's ready for Father's Day. Ready to go. Move, Greg. Are you regifting now? Been open as they count.
Those, and I still have 3 of them left, the little notebooks and a couple of briefcases, so.
We're gonna pray this out. We got
Lily, what we do is if you buy a ticket for $1 and your number is pulled, you get a chance to win the pot. You have to draw the joker out of the deck of cards. So,
So I think Mitch drew the last one, and it was 332, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, if he's not here.
I'll draw.
Oh, he left his.
I don't want to draw.
Can you just go draw?
Is that legal?
Ace of diamonds.
Oh, good, I want to draw.
Go for it.
Thank you, Martin.
Bring that bell. All right, Jerry.
okay, we have it. I have been, it's a coup d'etat.